on. Hello, you guys, and welcome to the Woman's Cave. And just in case you can't tell, I am not in the studio. So if I sound a little pitchy, it's because I'm yelling to make sure that everyone is heard. Oh, wait, it's just me. There's no Jay today. She has left me to my own devices. And yes, I'm dancing. Okay, anyway, moving on from me and my silliness, I have a serious and important guest today. I feel like we're almost going mainstream, which is a lie. We will never go mainstream. But, you know, after having the editor from Harper's Collins and now Victoria, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm going mainstream. I have arrived. It's official. And I'm going to stop being silly. By the way, I'm Winona. I almost forgot to say that. And I am one of the And I Thought ladies. We, by the way, write books. Go figure. People who interview literary agents and editors at Harper's Collins write books. Surprising, right? Jaw-dropping. Here are a few of our titles. We have the And I Thought series, And I Thought Divorce Was Bad, with other life lessons. You guys, pick that up on Audible because it is an audiobook, and Joe Sands does a great job. And I Thought Being Grown Up is Easy is the second book in the series, and that will soon be on Audible. So let me run down the last few of the And I Thoughts. I had it all figured out, and I thought he was the one, and I thought I did my journey alone. And there's two more And I Thoughts, but no one cares. Moving on to our second series, The Misfit Guide. We have The Misfit Guides, a sassy sway that leaves crooked footprints, and The Misfit Guides, Cocktail Soirees, and the LBD. I'm the author of the Widow's Debt series, and we also have what is Jade's most amazingly, yes, I'm using words incorrectly today, most amazingly accomplishment that she loves, which is the 25 Hottest Authors magazine. You can also pick that up, save a tree, get it digitally for $4.50. And we have the And I Thought literary series. Yay! Nope, sorry, I lied. It's the And I Thought literary magazine. You can pick up October's and check out what's coming up in June. And if this interview goes well, I'm hoping this lady ever so kindly, yes, this is peer pressure, Victoria, note this, peer pressure, will allow me to interview her from our magazine. Now that you've heard all about me, you can pick everything up at www.andwethought.com or at amazon.com, barnesandnobles.com, or audible.com. Oh, check out our reality TV series on Amazon, or if you're in Sacramento, it's on Channel 18. And guess what, you guys? We got official. We're going to do a rerun. Just 16 episodes, but, you know, rerun is a rerun. I'm still on TV. Yay. All right, you're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about our wonderful guests. Wonderful guest, Victoria, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sorry, I've had a cold. Yeah, I'm Victoria Skurnick, and I'm a literary agent at Levine, Greenberg, Ralston Literary Agency, which is pretty much the nicest literary agency in America. That's who I am.
Oh, yes. Okay, I'm going to go with looking at the backdrop and out the windows. Wait, is that a window? Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm in our conference room. We are located in Chelsea in the West 20s in a building that I presume used to be all furriers. This used to be the fur district. And this is our beautiful conference room.
Did you guys get free furs when you moved in? And yes, that's my lame attempt at the joke.
We get free books. That's good enough.
Okay, it's like the same thing.
I'm much more likely to wear a book than a fur, I assure you.
Okay. It might be a little opposite for me just because they're really warm. And they gave me one when I was 5. So I was like, ooh, I fell in love. Now I need to break that habit because I really don't like harming anything. Anyway, let's move off of less controversial subjects. Let's get to books, which that sounds ridiculous. Less controversial. Books are controversial, depending on what you read.
Right.
All right. So a literary agent. Okay, I'm trying to decide. Do I want to start with now or do I want to start with this amazing accomplishment that I'm just staring at? Victoria, okay, I'm going to read it from the article. Victoria Skurnick was at the Book of the Month Club for 2 decades as editor-in-chief.
Not for
Oh
the whole 2
my
decades.
goodness.
It was a great job, and I was not always editor-in-chief. In fact, I started off a freelance reader, reading for QPB, for Quality Paperback Book Club. But it was the heyday of the book clubs, and it was the most wonderful place to work. We really valued our members. We valued literature and books, and it was a spectacular place to start when I started in the late 1980s. It was really just wonderful. In an age of Netflix and Amazon Prime, it has become a little less wonderful because, unfortunately, people don't read as much.
That's very true. And they don't even want to watch videos over 15 minutes long. So, they're not
Don't
reading.
I know?
Oh, my goodness. So, you were there in the heyday of Book of the Month.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was very lucky.
How many books did you get to read that you actually fell in love with?
Well, here's the difference between being a book club editor and being an agent. When you're a book club editor, everything you read has been selected by a publishing house. So everything is sort of curated, which means that there were a lot of books I loved. As an agent, I'm getting things directly from authors. There's no one reading them before me. So it's much harder to find a book worth loving, frankly. But it was always extraordinarily exciting to come across something. I mean, I remember reading, for example, the Joy Luck Club when I was first there. And, there's just nothing more exciting than reading a book and realizing how utterly wonderful it is. I remember reading the Randy Shilts book, And the Band Plays On, about the AIDS crisis. I mean, it's a tremendously exciting thing. And it didn't happen every day, but it happened with some regularity at a club. Here it happens with much less regularity.
We try, okay?
Of course.
I'm joking.
Of course.
Yeah, I know. First of all, you took my question. That was my third question. What was the difference? So I just want to know, are you an undercover journalist as well?
No. I wrote one magazine article in my entire life, and it was on the joy of being single. That is my only piece of journalism ever. So, no, I am not an undercover journalist at all.
Because this only happens to me when journalists come on. They just start snatching questions out your head. You're like, and I was going to ask, they answered that. They answered that. Oh, never mind. You just tell us your name and your title. We're done.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. But I have question 1 and 2 left. So how did you become an agent?
Well, it was an interesting trajectory because actually I started off many years ago as the assistant in the advertising and promotion department at Avon Books, which was quite a wonderful paperback house and is now a full-service part of HarperCollins. But I was the assistant to an extraordinarily brilliant woman, and I worked in promotion and advertising for about 7 years or so before I became a regular editor, which happened at St. Martin's Press. And I was an editor in trade publishing for quite a long time, and then went to the club. And after 19 years, the clubs had really become a shadow of its former self. We had melted together with what used to be our biggest competitor. Sorry, there was no longer the respect for wonderful literature that we had had at the beginning. And I thought, what am I good for? I had written a bunch of novels with my friend Cynthia, so I had already done that end. I had been on the marketing end. I had been on the editorial end. And I thought, I guess what I'm fit to do is to be an agent. And I called a friend of mine who had been a publisher and had become an agent and said, who should I talk to? And he immediately said, talk to Jim Levine. that agency could use someone like you. And I called Jim and interviewed here, and I just felt at home right away. I loved it. And in fact said to him, I'm not going to talk to anyone else until you guys make up your mind. And largely I didn't. And it took several months, and then I was lucky enough to be offered a job. And that's the whole, it's many years rolled into the shortest story I can make it.
Do you know, I'm always amazed because we get to interview some interesting people, but when they talk about how they got where they are, oh my goodness, that is so much experience. You have to be so valued. How do you get any work done when people ask you a ton of questions for your the information
well,
in your
usually
head?
They're not. Believe me, it's not every day people ask me a ton of questions. This is rare for me. I'm generally talking about my authors, not about me.
Oh, you should definitely be talking about you. Your career is outstanding. And I'm going to stop
my career was a total accident, by the way. There was nothing, every step was accidental until I became an agent, really. That was really the only time where I sat down and thought, okay, what's my plan? But I got my job completely randomly because my very good friends happened to be a very close friend of Susan Peterson's husband, and Susan was the head of the department at Avon, and they said, you should apply for that out of nowhere, and they hired me. But in a way, at my age, it was a different time, and things could happen more organically, or as I like to call it, accidentally. And it was easier to get new jobs, to cross over, to make big leaps like that. It's much harder now.
So is publishing a smaller world now? Does everyone know everyone now? The survivors of the publishing world?
Obviously, a lot of us know each other, and some of us don't. I mean, it's always been it's a smallish, tight world where generally speaking, the people who are your competition today will be your colleague tomorrow. And there's a great amount of competition among people, but really also of collegiality and cooperation. I think I speak for most people in publishing when I say many of my friends I've met working with them, and that's very common. So sure, there is a lot of knowing each other, but of course there are also small, wonderful publishers all around the country, not to mention the world. And I certainly don't know everybody by a long shot.
I feel like you know almost everybody, but like maybe 30 people. I mean, with all the jobs you listed, come on. Everyone worth knowing. You know them.
Well, I hope so. Not quite, but that would be, as an agent, that would be a very good thing, because that's really part of getting the job done, is knowing enough people, knowing whom to send a manuscript to, all of that. But, the landscape changes every day. I know every old person for sure, but I don't know every 25-year-old. So it's a constantly changing landscape.
You can skip us. We don't have as many contacts in our Rolodex.
Oh, boy, you're about to. You will. You will. I'm telling you, one of the things my friends who are in my cohort always say to each other, we read Pub Lunch every day, as I'm sure a lot of the people listening to this do. And more, the names get more and more unfamiliar, because it's young people, it's millennials and Gen Xers and Gen Zers and Gen Yers who, in fact, are becoming the powerful people in publishing.
Oh, okay. That's great, because it'll move ahead. And I was just at something with like the Big Five, representatives from the Big Five, and one of the people said that they feel that publishing would be better if they could move with the times a lot quicker. But, you know, oligarchs are oligarchs, so whatever.
Well,
You know?
that may
So
be
I
true.
guess they're going to do
Certainly,
that now.
in marketing terms, that is true. It has taken publishers a while to really get a grasp on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a way, that's true. On the other hand, publishing changes all the time, and I think we are more representative of society and its changes than in a way any other career except maybe tech companies, because we're constantly getting new material.
I love that. I'm thinking about that. Yeah, you always are, and you're always on the search for something new and a new voice that hasn't been heard before. So 25-year-old that said that, I don't know. I think he was 28. He was adorable, though. 28-year-old that was adorable. And I'm not going to say from which company at the big guy. You're wrong.
Every 28-year-old is adorable. Just being 28 makes you adorable. When you get to be my age, it is true. Trust me.
Okay, let me get to the 3 top questions that our readers. Wow. What readers? Oh, Jade is here, by the way.
Jade is back.
Yeah.
Hi, Jade.
Hello. I'm off today, fighting my bronchitis. It finally caught up with me.
Yeah. So the 3 questions that the people who watch and listen want to know. Number 1, how do we get a literary agent? I'm gonna just do all 3 together. How do we get a literary agent? What are you looking
Do one at a time. Do one at a time, please.
One at a time. How do you get one?
Okay. I mean, it's a very, it's both simple and complex. Basically, you write a query email to a bunch of agents. And if your query should be brief, beautifully written, enticing, so we'll be interested enough. I mean, I, like many other agents, take a lot of clients, as we say, over the transom, you know, from a query. Not everybody I represent by any means came through a referral. I take people who write interesting queries to me. One of the things I always suggest, particularly to novelists, is that make the email short. Yes. Make us understand what's special about you, what's special about the book. Don't give a lot of plot, please, if you're a fiction writer. Give us a sense of anything that sets you apart, because, of course, we get thousands of queries. So give us something to hang on to where we're intrigued. But also, if you're writing fiction, put a couple of pages of the beginning of the novel in the body of the email. We don't have to read it, but we're readers. Don't forget, people who are agents started as readers. And if we see stuff in front of us, chances are we're going to take a look at it. And if it's fabulous, then we're going to ask to see the manuscript. How you find the right agent to talk to query, I think most of us suggest the following, that whatever kind of book you're writing, whether it's fiction or nonfiction or poetry or whatever, go into a big bookstore and check titles that appeal to similar readers, to your readers. Look in the acknowledgement section. Writers virtually always thank their agent, and make up a list of agents who might be willing and eager to see what you write. And then you could also check the AAR website, which is the agents organization, and is a sign. It gives an agent kind of credibility to be a member. And they also list the kinds of books that we all do. So do your due diligence and compile a list. You can find everything online. I mean, frankly, there's almost no one you can't reach, as everybody knows. And send it out widely, because getting an agent can be as hard as getting an editor, in fact, and we know that. But again, do everything beautifully. Make it interesting. We're happy to find talented people. That's all we want.
I love that. Oh, my goodness. Jade, you don't understand. She has been a treasure trove. Treasure trove.
I absolutely, I came in for my appointment, I was like, what? This is amazing. I'm mad I missed some of this interview.
Number two.
Yes.
Okay, number two is what do you accept? What are you looking for?
It's a terrible answer, but the truth is I'm looking for anything great. There's almost the only categories I don't cover are science fiction and fantasy because I just don't know enough about them. I'm not experienced at them, so I wouldn't be helpful. And I don't do much romance because it turns out I'm terrible at it. I have nothing against it, and in fact, my own books, Cynthia's and my books, were often in the romance section, but I'm just not a good judge of it. Aside from that, I love good fiction. I love commercial fiction. I love literary fiction. I love suspense fiction. I love nonfiction, history, politics, anything that's beautifully done, I'm going to be interested in.
Okay. All right, you guys, you heard that. She said beautifully done. I think she
that
means,
counts us out.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. No, I wasn't. I was about to, but then I was like, my face is beautifully done. Does that count?
Your face is beautifully done. I want to compliment you on it. I'm unlikely, however, to sell your face.
Okay. I was hoping. Anyway, and then our last and final question was, where can people read more about you? Unless you want to give out your email address or a website where they can find more about you. If you want to give those out.
Yeah. I'm really easily found. First of all, everybody is Googleable. So you can find out anything you want to know about me, for better or worse, is right there. The Levine Greenberg Rawston website is a great place to find out not just about me, but Lindsay and Monica and Jim and Daniel and Steph and Tim and Courtney and Sarah and everyone here. And we give a lot of information on our website about who we are and what we do. I am perfectly happy to get submissions sent directly to me, which is vskernick@lgrliterary.com. But it's not so hard to find. It really, really isn't that hard to find. I want to add to my last answer because I really want to be realistic, and that is, if what you're writing is fiction, it's only about the quality of your writing, honestly. If it's nonfiction, I will say, in all honesty, a lot of publishers insist on people having some kind of really good platform, meaning there will be thousands of people eager to buy their books. And that's a part of nonfiction publishing that can be very frustrating. So the more credentials you build, the bigger platform you build, the more likely it is that an agent and then a publisher will take on a work of nonfiction.
Thank you for being honest. Yes. I sincerely appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because
Jade, am I ever going to see your face?
No, because Jade looks.
She doesn't have makeup done.
Jade looks.
Oh well, in that case.
I've been fighting. I have bronchitis.
She has a cold. Jade has bronchitis, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm just getting over a horrible long cold.
I am so sorry. All right, so I'm going to shut up now and stop asking questions. Although I did want to know, what did you write?
Oh, Cynthia and I wrote under the name Cynthia Victor, and we wrote 7 commercial novels. The first was called The Secret, and let's see, there are 7 of them. They're really not in print anymore. They're extremely adorable and entertaining, and if you're ever in a used bookstore and you see them, pick one up. I've always said, if you're taking a bus from New York to Pittsburgh, we're perfect reading material. They're adorable.
I will. I love used bookstores, so I will definitely be looking for your book. Okay, you
Good
guys.
luck finding them.
You guys.
Everything is Googleable, right?
Yes. So we're gonna Google it and then we'll find it. All right, you guys. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us today. And I have thoroughly enjoyed chatting with Victoria. So she has wrapped up her stuff, so I might as well wrap ours. We are the Ends I Thought ladies, and you can find everything that you can follow everything that your ladies are doing at www.andwethought.com. There you can also go to the ladies page, go to the middle of the page, and you will see the 3 charities that we proudly support. We're now adding a 4th, which is Echo Foundation, which helps Ethiopian orphanages and underprivileged children. Please remember that you can also support these charities by coming to the Inspirational Women in Literature, Media, and Journalism Awards. And if Victoria is really, really nice, I'll probably ask her if she wants to, come on out and possibly get an award. Anyway, and Jade is back, so I got flicked off camera. Oh. So anyway, check everything we're doing out at www.andwethought.com. Remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona, who is actually going to go get her nails done for the last shoot of the movie.
And Jade, bye-bye.